Are we in the right?
Yeah, center na.
Center in the
Good
Hi,
evening,
guys.
sessionistas. Welcome back to another episode of Dearses.
Yes.
Thank you, Oaks on Collins,
Yes,
for
also
hosting
Collins.
us tonight.
So it's really nice to be able to have this opportunity. Yeah,
Time
time out.
out.
And it's Wang's birthday celebration this
Was
week.
where?
Oh, well, delayed celebration. Okay, let's get on to this.
Our
We wanna
topic for
keep it
tonight
Short and
is-
sweet.
Our topic for tonight is about OFW, expat, BALIKBAYAN. So these are the overseas workers, whether you're an Asian worker going abroad to a Western country to work, or actually there are also Australians going abroad. They call them expat, going to another country to work, and supporting family back home.
And the reason why we've touched on this topic is it is very controversial. It's something that doesn't really get talked about.
Yeah, no one really talks about it.
No, but however, what we want to aim is hopefully enlighten everyone. So this is more of just a good reminder again. So what is the first really, we've broken it down to what,
Why, how,
How.
and what again?
and what or how again,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So you want to start?
So what are OFWs?
What are
That term,
OFW?
OFW, Overseas Filipino Workers, or if it's from Australia, Overseas Australian Workers,
Keep going, keep going.
or what? What? It's just putting music on. Yes. So OFW, Overseas Filipino Workers, expats. They call it if you're a foreigner or from a Western country going to another country to work. And the other one is BALIKBAYAN.
Balikbayan,
Just a
which
Tagalog
is
term for OFW.
OFWs, but more so of the ones who live now overseas.
Like us.
But like us, yes. Which we are grateful and we feel blessed that we could do that. So what else? So OFWs, Balikbayan, is that all that we've put on?
An expat.
An expat,
Expat
which
if
is
you're really from a Western.
or the ones who grew up here. Maybe, yeah, I think that would more go to the ones who grew up here, or basically, who moved here for when they were younger and with their family, and they grew up. So second,
The next one is why did they do it?
you start.
Migration, immigration. With opportunities in some Asian countries, as you probably know, opportunities are very rare. The population is very high, so put it on 3.
Sorry,
Nagulat ako dun. Biglang, what?
I just realized it's like
Yeah.
we need.
So some people decide to move overseas to find new opportunities, or even bring their family along with them. Like for example, my whole family moved to Australia.
Yes. So,
Like you came in here to study. You were an international
Well,
student.
firstly, I was 10 years old when I first
Oh.
came here, and then I went back, and then
You still
finally
look
came
10.
back.
Shout out.
We all do. It's the genes. So what? They said, so we've done what, and you said you've done
Why did they do it?
why. So on that note, so I wasn't paying attention, but tell me if you already touched on this.
That's fine.
And this is not. Can I just clarify this? Because I'll be upfront. I'll be honest. I was like, oh, maybe my family relatives will think that we're doing this to have a spite. Or when I say spite, it's to pick on them. No, this is just
We
in
don't have
general.
time for that. It's just all
and
open
just-
talk.
But we can all relate, and for me, I can relate because I do look after my parents, and Wang knows about that. And I am grateful that I am able to provide for them, and that's really what it is. A lot of the family who have the opportunity to work or are blessed to be able to live overseas, they do feel like in some way, I guess the currency and all that, it's a bit more higher. So I guess it goes it goes a long way when it's converted to peso.
I think we all did that. When I first came here, everything I had to convert it. Oh my how much is that in
Everything.
peso. Yeah, but now
35, what's today? Right. Something like that.
with some Southeast Asian residents, with some Southeast Asian workers that I've known, they still do it.
Yeah, and
Nothing
I
wrong
think,
with
and
that.
you just do, especially for, say, the ones that are with a big family, they feel like their parents have sacrificed to help them finish their studies, so then it's their turn to give back. But let's be honest, I think I'll try to move on as quickly, but just on that note, I know I have a lot of friends, Australians, obviously, are asking, why do you do that? They normally do. It's just, it's definitely a Filipino thing and maybe an Asian thing, where you just feel like you cannot just
Are you
forward.
asking about why do they have to move to another country?
Or
we're
why
on
do
that
they do
topic
it?
at
Why
the
do
moment.
they send money? Why do they support? Oh, are you talking about why they
No,
moved out?
we're still.
Oh, we're still.
You're already advanced.
Yeah, more advanced. But yeah, why do they
Yeah.
move? It's either they're looking for better opportunities.
Yeah, it's all opportunities.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's third?
When I used to go to university, most of my classmates are actually international students, and the unfortunate fact that the international students actually pays for the HEX education of all the Australians.
You have to
in
explain
here.
to them what HEX for the ones who are not in
This is a
Australia.
higher education utang debt
Debt
for Australian students
For
who
the-
can't really afford to pay their university fees up front. So the government sends them to university and
or lend them money.
lend
so
them
that-
money.
so you can go to school.
And then once you finish your university and
have
you
to pay
started
back.
earning, that's when you pay back. However, with international students, obviously they can't study in here without paying, and most of them pay so much money.
You pretty much touched on to that.
Yeah.
So third is
How?
how do they cope? How do we cope? The harsh reality. Can I then start with that?
So you can probably elaborate your experience in here in Australia, and I will tell you some stories about my friends who are actually in Saudi Arabia, in Hong Kong.
yeah, my tita,
Those
their
ones
friends,
that are
yeah, the one that are
working
far.
overseas in a foreign country.
Yeah. Again, everyone goes through their different journey, right? I'm just grateful that I am able to, with some of my singing engagements, I'm able to help whenever I can. Unfortunately, some of our kababayans are in a worse situation. But to be honest, I know some of my aunties and friends, mom herself, before when she didn't earn that much. As simple as, say, she feels like she wants to eat KFC, she needs to like have a second thought and like go, oh, that's $6, and if you convert that to Philippine money, that will go a long way. So you know what? I'll deprive myself of having KFC just because I need to send this money. And that's the harsh.
That's okay. You're easily distracted with that. That's fine.
No, I was gonna say it's gonna make a noise. Sorry, back again. So that, and even myself, like again, it's harder for the ones who are not full-timers. Say they're just doing casual or contract. I do remember at one point do you want me to be upfront? Do you want me to be honest?
It's up to you. Up to you.
Well, I guess either way. At one point, I have to deprive, like even the ones who are working in the city. You know, you can't get when you forget to bring your lunch, you can't get your a cheap lunch would be what, $10, $12? I'll say $12. I think $12, $15 per one of those meals. At one point, I have to have a second thought and just deprive myself of having a proper meal and just buy one skewer of chicken or 2 skewers, and that's it, and have a packet of soup. I've experienced that, and you know, it's one of those things that, and I've heard from friends the same thing. There are things that they want to buy for themselves, but they hold on to it because they always think about their family back in overseas, and for us back in Philippines, things that we want to. We do pride ourselves on buying stuff, or even as simple as.
I think it's
proper
not just a Filipino thing. It always mostly goes to maybe Southeast Asian countries who work overseas and really send most of their income back home.
If not all of them.
I have some of my workmates who'd say, "Oh, I really need to earn this much money this fortnight because I've got 4 kids that I'm supporting overseas
for their school,
for their schooling, for their food, and I have to make sure that I reach that quota."
Yeah.
I have friends in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, Hong Kong, saying that, at most times they would only eat, the packet of noodles, instant noodles. Because they want to make sure that they will save all the money that they have, so they can send as much money as possible overseas.
Yeah. And it's really sad, guys. And I think those are the things that sadly their families don't understand, what the OFWs, the balikbayans, or the ones who are actually working overseas for their family to live overseas. They have no idea what they have to go through to be able to save, sadly.
In most times, it's social media who's at fault as well, because of course, who would post a sad photos of themselves or
they'll
like
always show
that you're miserable? Of course, you're gonna show your family that you're okay, you're happy, you're glamorous even. And I think the mindset in the Philippines, like, oh my God, she's living the life overseas. But no one really sees behind the scene that, oh my God, you're barely eating. You're barely even having sleep because you have to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Yeah,
no one
that.
sees us. You most of the time the guys overseas or the families overseas in the Philippines only see the result or what their loved ones post on Facebook, like new things, new bag, new makeup,
which probably they saved up for 1 year or how many months before they can get one bag for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good quality. Which they deserve it. They work hard.
Nothing wrong with that. But this is where I think the family back home, I think as well, there should be a balance.
But because it's hard when you don't see
you
it.
gotta be honest with your family and tell them, this is where
true.
I'm at.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I'm posting stuff on Facebook like this, like that, but it doesn't mean that I'm rich. It doesn't mean that I'm just picking money out of the tree outside.
Yeah, we don't grow money here.
Yeah.
we don't. We work our butt off. We really do. Sometimes you don't have sleep.
In life anyway, you can't just get success just like that.
No, but I mean,
you gotta work for it.
The teenagers, especially the young ones in the Philippines. So I'll speak to the Philippines because obviously we're Filipinos.
Tita.
Diba, the young ones think that, Tita's in overseas and Tita's got this.
Tita, can you buy me the latest iPhone?
Buy me latest iPhone. They have no idea that they're own.
They got no idea that in here you still got the Nokia 3210.
3210. It's so true. Or and I know some friends and family who even look after tuition fees or the scholarships of their nieces or their nephews.
I've got lots of friends that they've got a good job, but at the end they ended up not having any savings for themselves. Like you guys, if you get sick in a foreign country, who will look after you?
Yeah.
You gotta look after yourself first before you can actually look after your loved ones. I'm not saying don't give them nothing, but you gotta save up for yourself.
That's true. I think that's one of the things but we all go through that. We all make mistakes. And that's one of the common mistakes. They forget themselves.
What I don't like is when I might upset a few parents in here, but if you're a parent,
let's just be rolling on. In a certain
if you send your kids to a good school, you hope that they'll have a good life, but then that doesn't mean that you have the right to tell them, anak, or daughter, son, I sent you overseas, now you have to support me till the day I die. I think it's a wrong mindset for mainly the Filipinos to really depend on their daughter. Now, like even pambili ng sugar, like even if you have to buy sugar, toyo, what's toyo in Tagalog? In English,
Soy sauce.
Sugar, soy sauce from the kiosk. You gotta depend it from. You gotta depend it to your daughter. If you're a parent, because I'm a parent as well, you set your kid for life, so they'll be fully equipped on how they'll get a bit of a head in life and know how to navigate about financial challenges and all of that. But to expect them to, I think it's, what do you call that? Return of investment.
When some of the parents will demand.
Yeah, you expect them, and because I've had friends who would say, "Oh, no, my mom said that whatever I'm sending them is not enough."
Yeah, really.
Well, and I always say, well, if nothing's good enough, you get nothing.
Yeah,
that's me. But
it's really sad, guys. If only, and again, I know some people are in a far more worse situation than us. Even the ones that are in Saudi Arabia, I know, I've heard even some that are in construction, they will go through the heat. If you think, again, I'll just speak to Philippines because that's all I can relate to. If you think that in summer in Philippines it's really hot, think of that times double it, or even 5 times how hot it is in Saudi, and they're having to work physically, hard labor.
It's not just that. They just don't just have to worry about physical work. They have to worry about how they're gonna make them how they're gonna make ends meet, and
pay
also
their bills.
homesickness.
And
Homesickness. They're in a foreign country, can't speak the language, barely have no friends.
It's really sad, and I think, we take our hats off to our kababayans and OFWs. They pretty much sacrifice everything just to their life, and even for the ones who are, I guess the ones who don't have family, especially who are single, I guess I would say, not committed to anyone, they missed out on having to build a life for their own, because they put someone else or a family or a group of people in front of them. And I guess this then leads us to the next topic. How can the family who's receiving the blessings, who's receiving the help, what can you do to make it better, I guess, for your loved ones who work overseas, or to help out? One of the things is, firstly, just try and put yourself in their shoes, and acknowledge when you can that they do work hard. And it's probably harder to understand that when you're not seeing it. But just try and imagine you're away from your family. You're in a foreign country for some of them. Like what I said, they're
and in
homesick.
some terrible cases, the women that works overseas get sexually abused,
gets raped,
or they don't. Their employers don't allow them to sleep.
Yeah.
They have to work.
They have to work 24/7. Like they get
sleep on the floor.
Especially for our the ones who are
nannies.
nannies. They don't have. I remember when I went to Hong Kong ages ago, and the only day they have a day off is Sunday. But you see them outside the street because they have nowhere else to go, with their cloth or banig, which is what's banig in English.
It's at Central Park.
Central Park. Yeah. And they're all, not only Filipinos, there's Indonesians, Malaysians, the ones who are the same thing, working for their family. And my heart, it's so hard to see them, just parking on the street or anywhere, so they can have some time with their co-nanny friends, I guess. And I guess, so for the families, it's just acknowledging first, and try and remember whenever you can that they're in a harder situation. They're away from their family. They're away from comfort zone. And
to me, be mindful as well about the money that they're giving to you.
yes, so
If you can save up, and
When-
if you can also try to
budget
not just budget, find other resources that
or use that money to make something to yeah, that's right, to what is it?
I don't think the world would stop because one person is overseas. The people that are left behind should find other ways to help out financially, not just wait there every fortnight
And
for the new padala.
And yeah, again, some probably will. This is a very sensitive topic, but and some may be offended that we've said this, but we want to be as honest as we can, and it's us to bring enlightenment to the very sad.
Haven't you
facts.
seen it's becoming a cycle? We've had OFW for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think this sort of mindset get passed on generation after generation, and it gotta stop.
And unfortunately, I know some friends as well, even relatives. The sad truth is, especially the ones who they look after or they pay for their scholarships. Sometimes they see on social media because
Pregnant.
Either the niece that they've spend money for the niece to finish school ended up being being pregnant
Or on drugs.
Or just having a glamorous life and spending all these monies when and basically what we're trying to do, like we said, be mindful. Try and remember that the money that they sent to you are hard. Was it their sweat, their tears, their blood?
If they're a nurse, imagine how many butts they have to wipe just to give you that money. It's clean money from a dirty job.
Or let's make it more raw and put it in Tagalog. Imagine, like I said, but ilang
puwet
punas, ilang puwet ang kailangan nila.
PCA, but
it's harsh, but
they do it
the
out of
truth.
love. They do it out
And
of
that's
love.
right. Like, they go.
And I hope the family overseas, sana they don't feel disheartened or annoyed.
Yeah.
If that's the only amount of money that your loved ones can give you at that time. Because they have to also make ends meet on
They have to.
where
You guys
they are.
You have. That's right. You have to remember that they have bills where they are, and their bills would be more, whatever the currency is. If they're Italy, then they're paying Italian. Same.
And if it's your asawa or your other half that is overseas, geez, I hope, because like if you've been watching Tulpo, Rafi Tulpo, the guy or the woman went overseas, and when he or she came back, the wife or the husband already got someone new.
Yeah, that's the other one. That's what I'm saying.
Another topic.
Like that's another topic, but it's true. Like aside from either their nieces or their nephews, or whoever that they're looking after are having a glamorous life and going to McDonald's 24/7, while their other person, while the relative or whoever sending the money are starving themselves to send money. And then there's the wives or the husbands, whoever of the ones who's left behind.
Like Starbucks with someone else.
Dating, yeah, that's right. And they forget what their other half has to go through para lang, so just they could send money.
Well, that's just
So-
part of it. Yeah. And to advise our OFW friends.
Sorry, have you finished though?
Yeah, we
So
have.
basically, it's a family. Just try when you can. I do know some of a friend's friend that the family, on the other hand, they would, when they have a saving, they'll use that money to have a sari store, or even
That's
like
nice.
as simple as ice candy or ice.
That's nice.
They do anything, and I've heard some friends. So those are the things that you guys can do. Try and, like what Wang said, try and think of other ways, or if you can save the money, kung kaya, if you can stick to the budget, and if there's a way that you can use that money to, or save it until you can use it for something, so then you can have other income. Also, it would be helpful because it really, at the end of the day, it should be a teamwork because you're a family. No,
and for our OFW friends, you gotta also look after yourself. You gotta save up. Every year you grow older, who's gonna look after you when you get sick in a foreign country? And I believe that if you're only working temporarily overseas, you have an expiration date.
Yeah.
It will come a time that you won't be able to work anymore and do the work that you used to do. So you gotta think about, what am I gonna do at 10 years from now? You gotta save up for yourself.
So, yeah, I agree. With that, whenever you can, even unfortunately some people though they don't know, so it's probably this is a good chance to inform. When she says save up, if you can, try and have a budget. Try and put it on an Excel spreadsheet or anything. Just have have something like a
Rainy
table,
days money.
and make sure that you put, if you have budgets for other things, put yourself in there too. It could be Rowan's saving for future line. You know, it's so important, guys, because you're right. I think for our loving kababayans, OFWs, they forget that it's not forever where they are. Eventually there's an expiry date and they'll have to go back. And unfortunately, another friend of mine, I remember, this is in London, she was working for a very prestigious, a very wealthy man, and all her savings, she sends it to Philippines. Like, all her salary. And guess what? When she comes back, like, there's nothing left.
Nga.
Yeah, and so as much as what we're saying is, if you can, also try and send some, but try and have a saving for yourself for the future, which you can use to put up a business when you go back home. So then you can continue to help out your family, and look after yourself.
Yeah, that should be right.
Yeah, it's like
music.
I have to find it now.
Yeah. Chika,
But yeah,
kanya.
like what they said, you know, when you catch a plane, like when you
Oxygen.
the oxygen, before you could help out other people, you have to put the mask on you first. So then at least, that's the one of the instructions, right? You put the mask on first.
You can't help others if you don't.
So
have
then you
help
can
yourself.
help other people, and it's so true. People forget. We all do. You know, we're all guilty of it. It's so important to remember that number one, they need to look after, you know, other than
I
the
know
number
we're
one
saying
set.
that, but I know it's really hard, especially if you're a mother away from your kids.
Yeah, like especially the mother.
Because most of the time, it's the Filipinos that work so hard for their family overseas, and they'd rather have nothing to eat just to make sure that their kids.
And the dads and
mainly,
actually,
I mainly see women.
I'd like to actually find out. Maybe later on, Google. Let's have a look. Find out the facts. How many women and how many?
A lot.
More women than men.
More women than men.
Like especially for in Hong Kong or nannies.
Because I think we're all now more braver.
Is that
brave? Hashtag brave. All right.
That being said, we hope that we've enlightened you guys. This is just for us to a different topic, to bring light to something that requires a bit of love. So from me, I'm Laura Love.
My name's Rowena. Thanks for tuning in again and again. Till next time again, dito lang sa
Dearses.
Dinner muna kami.
Don't forget to like and follow our page. Love you guys.
God
God bless.
Thank you.